FactFinder wanting to warn you as tax season is quickly approaching. I'm sitting down with Josh Planos with the Better Business Bureau. And Josh, when tax season approaches, also scammers are looking to steal people's information. And the BBB has a good way to try to, keep folks from losing their information, and that's to file early, right?
It is. The best way to avoid tax identity theft is to file those taxes as early as possible, which this year will be Monday, January 29th. You have until, I believe, April 15th to get those filed. Filing early, though, prevents identity theft since it reduces the window of opportunity for thieves to submit fraudulent returns. Filing early will also minimize that chance that you'll be targeted by tax preparation schemes that are often too good to be true. And it'll also help you avoid those last-ditch efforts that scammers make to hurry, sadly, the most vulnerable through the process with false guarantees.
And what are some of the key red flags, the big red flags that folks can keep an eye out for?
So the method in which you're communicated is probably the primary one. Unsolicited communication makes up the vast majority of the scam reports that are received by the Better Business Bureau. But with tax preparation type schemes or schemes in which folks are asked to provide back taxes, the method in which folks are actually being communicated with typically gives it away. The IRS typically does not make phone calls. They don't send text messages. They send letters. So look to the medium for some guidance, but also, threats and intimidation tactics, requests for upfront payment through non-traditional means like prepaid debit cards or wire transfers or gift cards is typically a red flag. And then unusual requests for personal information, particularly on the front end. So for instance, if someone asks you for your social security number right off the bat, typically that's a sign that they might not have your best intentions in mind.
And then I know a lot of folks use online tax preparers such as TurboTax, and then some do in person. So how do we know that we're picking the right avenue?
Yeah, it's increasingly challenging, right, Haley? I mean, typically the URL can be just a couple letters different, and it can mean a whole lot of difference for that individual. So you want to double and triple check the URL, the email addresses that you're receiving, if they are providing, a sign up for software. Typically, it's, you can avoid a lot of these scams if you do in-person filing. I know that that's not realistic for everybody, but it is a good way to avoid some of those phishing scams that we do monitor here at the Better Business Bureau. But then doing your due diligence, right, on the person in question, on the software in question, on the opportunity in question. If it's something you've never heard of, there might be a reason for that. So doing a little bit of research into that company or that opportunity will typically result in you avoiding some of those scams that unfortunately a lot of folks are falling for these days.
And then Josh, whenever anyone files, a lot of that sensitive information is out there being shared. So how do you keep your sensitive information protected during the season?
Yeah, a shredding machine is a good thing to have this time of year. Sadly, we hear from folks who have personal information lifted from their own trash cans because they're just discarding it like they would, a candy wrapper. And you want to make sure that if it's sensitive, that it is destroyed, at the very least that you are taking the necessary precautions to secure your identity in the ways in which that you're able. Typically, when you file in person, there will be a process that the company has that will keep that information safe. Very challenging when you're doing it digitally or online. So it is something to be cognizant of, not emailing to unsecure lines, that personal information. To ensure that there's some dual factor authentication on your accounts that are most sensitive, things like your bank accounts. This is a really good time of year to do a little bit of a digital refresh for yourself and kind of get up to speed on what some of those best practices are regarding cybersecurity.
All right, Josh Planos with the Better Business Bureau. Thank you.